How about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Hello, guys, and welcome into another Red Out Podcast. I am your host, Devin, and I would first like to say R.I.P. Corey Cooper, young man who passed away. Used to play at Allen County, Scottsville way back in the day. So condolences to him and his family. But with that, let's see if I can get some of the other guys in here, and we will talk sports and get going on Western athletics. But as always, guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the episode. And yeah, we'll see how it's going. There's Jared. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, that's good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I am drinking Mountain Dew right now, so
That's good. Have you had a solid 8 hours of sleep for the week yet?
for the week, actually, it's not bad. I can't complain. She sleeps. My wife and I are kind of doing like one on, one off kind of thing. So, like first get up, I'll take her. Second get up, she takes her, and third, I'll get her. But like last night, for instance, I got up at I think I got laid her down at like 10. I hadn't even gone to sleep yet. She got up fussy, so I took her and got her, fed her, and changed her or whatever. She got to bed by like midnight, woke up at 1, and my wife had her from 1 to 3, and then I got up at 4 and took her, and then got her back to bed at 5, and she got up at 8:45. So,
Oh, wow.
so there, we're each getting a little bit of sleep, but it's not. It's exhausting. I'll give you that. It's definitely exhausting, and babies are jerks. So,
Yeah.
just so everybody knows.
I mean, they only want to eat and sleep sometimes. That's about it.
She's it's like I said, she's got her great moments where she's she's got her stormy moments where she's fussy and nothing's right, and you're like, oh my god, you're such a woman right now. And then there's other times where she's sleeping and you're like, okay, this is okay. And then you got other times where it's just like the sunshine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything's great, and you're like, oh, this isn't bad at all. So you got to take the good with the bad. Valleys and hills and all that such. So, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump in, winners and losers. I guess I'm going to steal yours because I know you'll probably mention it. But winner Ryan Newman.
Yeah, he is lucky to be alive for sure.
Oh my gosh! For those of you who aren't rednecks like the rest of us and watch NASCAR, which by the way, I cannot watch NASCAR. The few times I've watched NASCAR, there's been wrecks. So, but I didn't watch it last time. I watched the Dale Earnhardt one was the big one I watched. But like the last 10 laps is the only thing you really should pay attention to. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, you're right. I
but
mean, I'm an old school NASCAR fan though. NASCAR was the first sport I ever really got involved in. For some reason, when I was 3 years old, I decided to become a Jeff Gordon fan, even though nobody in my family watched NASCAR.
gosh.
Like, I was just flipping through the channels and I saw, fast cars going in circles really fast. Because, I mean, that's how my attention span is, just watching them. I could sit there and watch them for days. Like, he was my favorite for sure, and I haven't really cared too much about it since. But yeah, it was scary on Monday.
Yes, hey Alex.
Yes, technology is not kind to me once again.
That's all right, buddy. You're doing fine. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. I literally just got in from Buffalo Wild Wings, just chilling, eating with an old friend, just catching up, whatnot, informing him on everything that's been going on about Western athletics. So it's really nice.
That's good.
Good. But no, we were just talking about the Ryan Newman wreck. Did you see any highlights from that?
Yes, I got caught up pretty much after it happened just because, to be honest, I don't watch NASCAR as much as I should.
Well, that's what we were both just talking about. Jared was a big fan back in the day. I have never really been a big fan. I've been to the track twice. I've been to the Daytona 500 twice, not during a race. But I'm not a big NASCAR guy. But like, if I was gonna watch, I'd watch like the last 10 laps. That's just me,
I usually just watch like on special events. Like I'm so mad that I missed the Daytona 500 this year, but I usually watch with the Pepsi 400, Homestead. But pretty much the last time I've honestly watched a full season of NASCAR, Carl Edwards was in his heyday. I really liked him.
Oh yeah.
But the Newman wreck, like it's a testament to just not only how much that this could have went either way, and this could have went in a very tragic way, but also a testament to just his character surviving. And especially just with the recent passing of Kobe Bryant, it's sports the sports culture is more unified just from seeing like different reactions on social media, like even basketball players, football players even commented on the wreck and was just like, it was a nice sight to see. Like not only he survived the wreck, but it's just like the humanity, just everybody coming together just to send their thoughts, well wishes to him and his family.
Well, okay, let me ask you guys. What did you think about, oh my gosh, who won? I don't even know who. Denny Hamlin. So what did you think about Denny Hamlin celebrating his win like he did? Do you think it was classy, or do you think did he have an excuse because he didn't see it?
Well, he said that he didn't know the severity of the situation, but you think just by seeing his car and the fact that it's literally upside down and burning, that would kind of be an indicator to maybe not showboat as much, and especially because he won last year too. I mean, it's not like it's the first time he's ever won this race. So, I mean, maybe just calm down a little bit. There's still a lot of people chastising him for it, and I don't blame them. So
I agree. I agree with that. I don't. My thing is, some of the worst NASCAR wrecks, the people walk away fine. And then
I remember watching Dale Earnhardt's when it happened. Though.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was almost the same kind of situation, but a little different. Is that Darrell Waltrip was on the call for the race, and his brother Michael won his first Daytona 500, and he wanted to be so happy for him, but at the same time, I mean, he saw how Dale Earnhardt went into the wall and how severe that situation was too. So, I mean, it's definitely a conflict of emotions for sure. A lot of emotional dissonance.
But my thing is with that race, I don't know how much you remember that.
I remember well too.
Well, see, my thing is with that race, towards the beginning of the race, there was a 17-car pileup.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I thought, man, somebody's going to die. That's so bad. And then I remember when Dale hit, it was one of those that just blew it off because the earlier wreck seemed so much worse than him just hitting the wall.
Yeah. And it depends on a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's one of those you can't take it for granted. But, luckily, I guess there's so much science behind the way those cars are made that, those guys are so protected, knock on wood, he was so protected in that car, it really helped him. But Jared, do you have any other winners and losers?
I mean, you definitely stole my winner. I'm happy for Ryan Newman. And he's been discharged from the hospital today, too. I don't know if you saw that. Him and his daughters, that was a really cool scene of him walking out of the hospital, that apparently he wasn't too bad, whatever happened. Probably some scrapes and burns. But my loser is a sport I do not care about and probably never will, but I have to say it anyways. It's Major League Baseball. Because of all the crap that they're going through with their commissioner. I can't remember who it was or what team he plays for, but it was the commissioner talking about the commissioner's trophy, that he just kind of didn't really care about it or something like that. And the player was like, in the locker room, he's being interviewed about this, roasting the commissioner, and he said maybe the trophy would be more valuable if it didn't have your name on it. And I was like, oh, snap. That is the most savage thing I've ever heard, and I love it because he definitely deserves it because of all the stuff with the Houston Astros. I mean, I will protest baseball for the 26th year in a row this year. Anyways, but I thought that was hilarious. I saw that on the Sports Center, and it's like one of those dadgum moments.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Alex, do you have any winners and losers, buddy?
Winners, I would literally have to go off and kind of tee off Jared a little bit, but I'm excited that baseball is back. Me being a diehard St. Louis Cardinals fan, I'm just like, this time of the year, like it's a breath of fresh air, just spring training.
Out there.
My losers would have to be literally in 1 month and like 2 weeks, college basketball will come to an end, and I would have to throw myself under the bus with this because outside of covering Western, but also living in Kentucky, huge basketball states, you're always going to hear, no matter how much you hate it, hear about Louisville, the Louisvilles, the Kentuckys, the Murray States, da 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 da. I had no clue that Baylor was the number one team this week.
They
You
have
got me
been
on
for a
that one
while.
too. They have been? Okay. See, I didn't
Yeah.
know either. I'm the same boat, Alex, because I didn't know either. But I follow basketball as much as, I mean, I have no analogy.
Not
I
as much as football or anything like that.
Right.
don't follow it whatsoever. So,
Yeah.
yeah, football's my sport. So, like, I don't follow, top 10s or anything like that. But, yeah, I am sad to see college basketball go, but it's getting to be that time of year that we're getting into March Madness, and
It's
it's
almost
probably
bracket
one of them-
season.
it is. It's
Yes.
probably the
I'm
most
going to hate
exciting.
myself so much because it's going to be so hard to fill out a bracket this year because there's like so much. Just anybody could get beat on a given night. That like a 16 seed could easily beat a 1 seed probably this year just because it's so much parity.
Yeah, I agree. Alex, do you have any more winners and losers? Hello?
Alex.
I know. I was thinking, did I dip out there? I'll do a couple weird sports or odd news things.
2020 now.
God, stupid thing.
Man.
Okay, so anyway, got a couple odd news, the winner and losers. Kim Jong-un, probably perpetual loser for us, spent over $500,000 on Russian horses over the past decade, data shows. North Korea, which previously staged photo ops of leader Kim Jong-un riding a white stallion, has spent more than $500,000 importing horses from Russia over the past decade.
My question is, why would they need horses when they have unicorns?
I wouldn't even think he would need a horse to ride. I figured he would just kind of like float along the ground.
You would think that.
Last year, the Rogue Nation paid $75,000 to import a dozen Russian purebred horses, according to recently available data reviewed by Reuters. The purchases could mean the isolated country has been bolstering its herd. They spelled herd wrong, as it had a history of buying high-priced horses from its Russian neighbor. And then it goes on and it talks about all the different times they paid various amounts for these horses. This is just crazy to me.
It is crazy.
And then I'll take off that one before it pops up. Let's see. A lady lost her class ring in Maine 47 years ago and has found it buried in a forest in Finland. I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah, this is. See if I can catch this one before it starts talking. Come on. Oh, gotcha. A high school class ring lost in Maine in 1973 has been found buried beneath a forest floor in Finland and returned to its owner, who says the unlikely find might be more than just a coincidence. Blah, 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 blah. You can find the story on type in odd news and it pops up with Fox. But essentially, this lady lost the Morris High School ring in a Portland department store shortly after her then boyfriend and future husband, Sean, gave it to her when he left for college. The couple was married for 40 years until Sean died in 2017 after a 6-year battle with cancer. The ring, however, was largely forgotten until a sheet metal worker found it under 8 inches of soil in a Finnish forest last month after 47 years. The story of how the ring journeyed 4,000 miles from Maine to Finland remains a mystery.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that just, it's like, how the heck did that get all the way in Finland and then it's buried 8 inches in the dirt? Yeah, it's just crazy to me. But yeah, so going to jump into other sports real quick. Let me get my notes here. Do my best Jim Rome impression. So we'll jump into softball first. Softball played, sorry, hit the mic there. Softball played in the Chattanooga Challenge over this past from Friday through the 16th. Yeah. So from Valentine's Day to Sunday, they played Ohio, and they beat them very well, 13-4. Then they played Lipscomb and Chattanooga. Oh, I'm sorry, they played Chattanooga on the 14th as well and beat them 12-2. Then they played Lipscomb, beat them 7-1, and then they beat Bowling Green. Isn't that Indiana? I'm assuming. Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Ohio. It's one of those northern states. It's whatever.
Same thing.
Yeah, nobody cares. Bowling Green, they beat them 2-0. So Western's girls sweep the Chattanooga Challenge. Did a great job there. They will be playing again on Friday versus Green Bay in the Hilltopper Classic. Let me see. Who else? They have another one?
Beat the Packers. Let's go. We got this.
I know, right? I'm like, poor Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how he's going to play this one. Then they're going to be playing. Okay, so yeah, the way the Classic works, they're going to play Ball State at 12:30, and then at 3 or 5:30 they play the winner of the other bracket. So I'm guessing it's kind of round robin for the first couple games, and then they figure out who's on top, and then they roll it around from there to see who's going to be playing who. But yeah, good luck to softball. Hope y'all do very well. And then, of course, let's see. That starts Friday at Saturday, and then Sunday they'll finish up, and the championship game will be played. And the consolidation or trophy for everybody else will be playing the other game. Let's see here. Women's basketball had Western playing UTSA, and didn't they play UTEP too? Am I right on that one? Sorry, I'm just trying to find the date on that game. The 13th, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, so they played last Thursday. They played UTEP and beat them 78-65. And, I mean, the girls are playing great this year. I can't.
Yeah.
There's no way I could fault them. At one point, they were beating UTEP 44-19.
That's big.
With, let's see,
Love it.
3:10 to go in the second quarter. And then, of course, UTEP started making their way back. And then they got within 7 points, looks like, and WKU was 66 and UTEP was 59. And then Western just pulled away. So, I mean, the girls are playing great.
I think it was Matt that tweeted earlier that as of right now, ESPN has him as an 11 seed in the NCAA tournament. So I hope they keep that up.
Nice.
Yes, that is awesome. Western beat the Roadrunners, UTSA. Oh, I do have to point out, I had a very loyal listener send me a message that Tijuana is not on the other side of El Paso. That's Juarez, Mexico. So
Cuidad Juarez?
Do what now?
Is it Cuidad Juarez or just Juarez?
I think it's Cuidad Juarez.
Awesome. I'm actually staring at it because I literally have a United States map into my bedroom with everything, so I can literally just pull up all the
full disclosure. I am not great at geography anyway.
I love it.
Especially world geography. I mean, I can tell you countries, until you get to some of the Eastern European countries, I'm probably not that good. But for the most part, I think I can identify countries. And, one of these days when we have a kind of a boring show going, I might do the game and see if I can figure out what country is what. But anyway, like I said, I am a stereotypical American. I have no idea what it borders what. I'm sorry.
You know where Texas is, and you know where California and Florida is.
Yes, literally.
Yes, I know, and I know Mexico south of that. So I'm winning on that front. But Juarez. Sorry, guys in Juarez. I'm sure it's probably not very good down there either. But I don't think we have to worry about them getting in trouble as much. And out of context, Alex, I'm sorry, but. Yeah, so basically what we were saying we were talking about the guys, how they haven't really gotten in trouble this year, and we were hoping that they wouldn't go down to Tijuana when they played El Paso. And, of course, good listener from the UK, Steve, helped us out there and got me straightened out. So I need it as much as I can. My poor wife can't keep up. So, and then, of course, we're talking women's basketball. So UTSA, Western thumped them as well. They beat them 85-57. Of course, UTSA is not in the top of the bracket by any means. Western is still 2 games out from first. ODU has first right now. They're 22-3. Western is 18-6, and Rice is sitting above Western in conference play. They're 11-2. Overall, they're 16-8. So Western, like Jared was saying, Western is coming in at a projected 11th seed for the NCAA. That would be awesome. Love to see that. What do you guys think thus far with women's basketball? Jared, what do you going to think first?
Yeah, I mean, they've been killing it. I can't remember what their RPI is off the top of my head, but I know it's really good. Their strength of schedule is really good as well. So there's a very good chance that the Conference USA could be a three-team bid or whatever in the NCAA tournament, which would be awesome if it happens. I mean, Rice, obviously they're really good. Old Dominion has a shot at an at-large, and we do too. So I'd love to see that happen.
Alex, what do you think, bud?
I feel like this team could definitely win out. They got 5 more games coming up, including bonus play, of course. Tomorrow they play Marshall. That shall be an intriguing one. And then Saturday they play Fort Atlantic at 1 p.m. So I'm betting on the Lady Tops to win all out and make an at-large bid. I feel like this team could actually win the Conference USA tournament.
I agree. I think it's a very, very decent problem.
Yeah.
I would put money on it. How about that?
I don't know. I mean,
You
regular season, I think that Will Rice is such a hard team for them to beat. I don't know if they could get past them or not. They'd have to catch them on an off night, in my opinion, in order to get past them. But, I mean, even if we still make it to the finals or right before then, that should get them an at-large bid. So I think
is Rice the team that's got that, 7-foot girl?
Well, 6'9", I think, or 6'8", something like that.
Still,
It's
when
crazy.
you're that tall, I mean, you're just 3 foot away from 7. That's close enough for me. But looking at the conference thus far, Marshall is I would say probably midways. They are 6-7 overall. They're 6 games back. Let me see here. Let me pull up some of these others they got left. FAU, let's see, MTSU. Then the Charlotte and La Tech games are to be determined. Let's see. I'm going to say Middle is probably going to be our closest opponent, and Charlotte. Middle is right behind us in conference play, and Charlotte's right behind them. And then let's see, who else did I say? I want to say Rice, maybe. Did I say Rice? I don't know.
Yeah, Rice is at the number 2 spot.
No, FAU's. FAU's the other opponent we're looking at. FAU. Yeah, FAU's towards the bottom too. But yeah, support the girls. They're going to need your support going into the tournament. They've got Marshall, which, by the way, anytime Marshall comes to the house, we need to pack it. I don't care if they're playing chess at midcourt. We need to support the girls.
They diddle, though.
Diddle. Gosh.
You're close. Same concept.
Lack of sleep does not help me whatsoever. Okay, we got Marshall at home on the 20th, so that's tomorrow, like Alex was saying. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock. I think it's 6 o'clock Central. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
For those of you who are not in town, it's on ESPN3, it says. So check that out there. I'm sure it's probably on Facebook too or something maybe. I don't know. Then we got FAU on the 22nd, so that's Saturday. MTSU a week later, and that's at Middle. And then Charlotte and FAU, or not FAU, gosh, La Tech, sorry. Those are to be determined, so we'll just have to find out. But support the girls. Go throw down the moonshine and beat Marshall as far as I'm concerned. God, I hate those guys. Anyway.
Same.
I skipped somebody. No, I didn't. Baseball. I know. Jared's not the most excited, and I am not
I mean, as long as we're dominating, then I'm all for it. I mean, our baseball team is pretty good, too.
It's easier to cheer for them when they're winning than when they're not. So, baseball, I can't say I don't like baseball, so don't get me wrong. I used to play baseball up until 13-year-old travel team. So I enjoyed it. I played first base, catcher, I enjoyed playing baseball, but it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily watching baseball, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
The series and all that, and you're just oh my God, you played 140 games a year or something. It's like, good gosh. I can't concentrate that long. That's why I like football. It's really short. They win, they lose. It's fine. So baseball played Valpo. The game got moved from Valentine's Day to the Saturday, so the 15th. So the guys played, and they beat Valpo on Saturday 9-3, and then they went and played on Sunday and beat Valpo again 6-2. And then we played them on Monday since the game got moved back, and then we lose 3-5. So that's fun. Thought we'd have Ross here in a little bit, but he said he's going to be a little bit late tonight. I was hoping he could talk some baseball for us, but
oh yeah, speaking of, it just came in off the wire. Tops got a win over Murray State today, 7-6.
Nice.
Good. Always
Yes.
beat the Racers. Always.
That was my next thing. I was going to check and see what the see how we were doing, but yeah, that's great.
Yeah, the game literally just ended like 30 minutes ago. It's already been updated on the WKU website.
Nice. Yeah, so Dalton Shoemaker, I'm assuming? Shoemake. Dalton Shoemake got the win for the Tops. Yeah, it's doing, I don't know what all these stats mean. So, anyway. Yeah, so Western won 7-6. Yeah. Looks like Murray had 2 errors. Yeah, I'm just going to quit because I can't do this.
It's
So,
okay.
yeah.
I
I'm
couldn't
struggling.
do any better. I don't know how to speak the baseball language.
Well, I'm just, I can get away with this in basketball. I can pull up some stats and, I can make
Yeah,
some.
at least you know what like a rebound and all that is. I mean, all
Well,
the
I
other
mean,
things.
yeah, I mean, and the sad thing is I played baseball longer than I did basketball. So, it's just like great. But, yeah, so baseball played Valpo. They did all right. Wish they'd have swept the series and beat them on Monday, too, but it's whatever. And like Alex said, they played on Wednesday. Mine just updated, too. Okay. 7-6, they beat Murray. Just finished the game, just finished up. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find the next game real quick. They play Wright State at 3 p.m. Central on Friday, the 21st. And softball plays Indiana State on Friday. Let's see. I'm trying to find some more. Yeah, so it looks like the guys are going to go against Wright State on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That game will be on HSSN on Facebook. So if you want to watch it there. If you can go to the field, to what is it, Dennis Hamlin Field or something?
Nick Dennis Field.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, whatever it's called. I mean, the sad thing is I worked there for God knows how many years, like right across the field from it, and I could not remember the name of it. So for those of you who are big Western baseball fans, I am sorry, but I will try. That's all I can do.
So will I. I will make it a challenge to actually just keep track of baseball more and not just go on select days or when they play Louisville or Kentucky at Bowling Green Ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, I should know more about baseball because my cousin's dad is Mike Williams, who is one of Western's all-time best baseball players. So that may be someone I need to talk to a little more. Go see Mike.
Yes. So support baseball too. I mean, it's a great environment. I mean, I know a lot of people go to the Hot Rod games or used to. So just same kind of thing going. Just go right down the road a little bit and go watch some Western baseball.
They do need a really cute dog ball catcher, though. Like, the Hot Rods have Turbo now.
Yes.
That is my winner every single week. It just unspoken from here on out is Turbo. So just so y'all know. He has his own Twitter page and everything. Be sure you give Turbo a follow. It's a very cute dog. Very cute. So
that is awesome. That's awesome that they have a dog Twitter. So I'm sure. Well, actually, that's not that far-fetched because I've heard of girls doing Instagrams for their babies and dogs and stuff too, so I guess Twitter's not too far off. But anyway, so let's slide over into men's basketball where we're all fairly comfortable. So Western played UTSA. Let me pull this up real quick.
They played UTEP first.
Sorry, I got yeah.
Which both of those were good games, surprisingly. I didn't know how that was going to go.
No.
I was more concerned with I was more concerned with the UTEP game more than UTSA game more than UTEP.
Yeah, I knew that the UTSA game, that's usually always a close one because, I mean, Wallace and Jackson usually combine for like 80 points, which is crazy. And, I mean, I will give a shout out to Javon Jackson. He's now UTSA's single scoring leader and all-time scoring leader. He got that feat in the same game and still lost. So, I mean, that kind of sucks. But at least he has that accomplishment. And he's only a junior, so... And he's number 2 in the NCAA right now as far as points per game. So, I mean, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would like to point out real quick for everybody that there is an article up that Ross posted today. WKU basketball, Jared Savage's ascent is fueling WKU post-Bassey.
It's true.
Yes.
Just want to say, told you all, ha ha ha. Jared Savage is awesome. But check the article out. He did a really good write-up about it and just kind of talks, briefly about different things, Savage's junior season, Savage's journey pre-WKU and stuff like that. So check that out. It's really good to read.
He's originally from Franklin, and his name is Jared, so how can he not be a baller?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like a streamlined process, just straight to WKU for Jareds who are great ballers, right?
You're right.
So, sorry, I keep getting text. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, so Western, yes, like you said, Western played UTEP, and the Miners aren't doing the best this season. They are second to last, only above Middle, which, by the way, is the greatest thing ever. That
is crazy, though, because UTEP had such good promise coming into this year. This was going to be the year that they turned everything around, and they didn't look too bad in their non-conference schedule, but once they got to Conference USA, it was bad.
Yes.
Really bad. They didn't have anybody at the game that we played them in, which usually every time we go play them is when they honor their national title team from 1966, the Texas Western team that won. They do that every single time we play them there for whatever reason, and they still didn't have that good of a turnout, which kind of sucks for them because they would deserve a good turnout for that game, in my opinion, because if we ever had a national championship and we honored the national championship team in Diddle, it doesn't matter if we're playing like Eastern Wyoming Technical College. It should be a sellout game just for that reason alone. So that just kind of shows the state that UTEP is in right now.
I do have to point out one thing real quick. There is another loser I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. Have you all seen the footage of the Eastern Kentucky football player?
Oh, yes.
Yes. That was just insane.
That is insane. That was sent to me by a fan, and I was like, a listener of the show, and I was like, good gosh, man. I watched that video, and I was like, oh, my God. He's lucky. Honestly, that kid's lucky he didn't get in more trouble or God or something. Good God. I mean, but anyway, back to basketball. Sorry, my ADD must be kicking in tonight. Western beat UTEP 67-62, and then they played UTSA. Sorry, let me pull this up real quick. Come on, punk. There we go. And they won 77-73. So what did you all I know you talked a little bit, but what did you think as far as how the guys played, Alex, against UTEP?
It was a pretty good game for the most part.
Okay. So what do you mean by that?
All right, I'm sorry. My thing is, hold on. My internet is not one to cooperate tonight. It was a very tough road victory, just like you didn't want the team to have a road trip like Florida.
Yeah.
So it was just better preparation and just literally foul trouble. I mean, it was the downer of the whole entire game. Savage, Williams, Anderson, and Hollingsworth literally had 3 fouls each with 7 minutes left to play. So, yeah. I mean, getting over the foul trouble kind of just helped us out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the kind of the game flow, Western had a very good lead going into like 5 minutes to go in the first, and then just right after, and about 18 minutes to go in the second, UTEP takes over with a 3-point lead, and then it's just so close. And the bad thing is with like a UTEP or UTSA or somebody like that, you want to see the guys just pull away and just kind of dominate. And, that obviously did not happen. They allowed UTEP to stay in the game, and it's one of those things that just doesn't look good to me going into pod play, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at least they did what they were supposed to do, and they were able to pull out a win in both of those situations because that's ultimately what matters. It doesn't
Yes.
really matter how pretty he was. And Josh Anderson, he was sick in the first game too, and he didn't even start. Cam Justice came back in the starting lineup, and I mean, he did all right, but you can kind of tell. I mean, that's such a long road trip going from Bowling Green to El Paso, and then from there to San Antonio.
See, I imagine they flew, though. I don't imagine
they did. They didn't drive.
Yeah,
No.
right.
But, I mean, they were able to take care of business, and, I mean, it took an overtime game to beat UTSA again. That's just kind of the trend with them is that it usually goes into overtime. But they know how to pull out these close games. I mean, as long as they play a full 40 minutes or sometimes a little bit longer than that, they can compete with anybody. They just got to keep it going.
Yes. And I mean, and I agree completely with what you said. My thing is, a win's a win, so don't get me wrong by that. But we're coming into pod play, and I just want to see a little oomph instead of the guys fighting it out. And I mean, I'm glad to see them fighting like that because that just makes you feel better that they've still got it. They're not too worried about stuff and they know what to do. Basically, is what I'm getting at. But anyway, Alex, what do you think of the UTSA game, buddy?
I'm just glad that we got the win against UTSA. Javon Jackson, and I keep forgetting the other guy's name.
Keaton Wallace.
Wallace?
Yeah, Keaton Wallace.
Yes, Keaton Wallace. They've had a really good game against us, and it's just the one thing that frustrated me is just, which it worked out either way for, obviously we won the game, but just how well both these teams play each other. This is the third overtime game.
Yeah.
That they played against each other in like the last 2 years. So it's just something like about this roster from UTSA that just always has to bring the best stutter a little bit. The best out of us when it comes to just contending for the win. Either way, yeah. I'm glad we got the win. I'm glad that the road trip literally went in our favor, and it's just now we see where this team will stand going into pod play.
Jared, what did you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, just both of these games so critical, and of course the UTSA game, it was a really good game to watch. I mean, it had a lot of back and forth in it that they were leading by a little bit, and then we were able to finally get some momentum. But it was stressful. Of course, once it went into overtime, I was like, oh, Lord, there's no telling what can happen with this.
Yeah.
I mean, they still pulled it off. I mean, you got to give them credit. And the way that Jared Savage has been playing, I mean, he's become that leader that we need. And, of course, Tavion Hollingsworth, he's been absolutely killing it, too. I don't know what this team would be like if he wasn't there to be able to get some baskets when they need it. And he's played really hard, so you got to give him credit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got to give him the credit when they – yeah, completely agree. Sorry. Let me give me a shot of some energy here.
Some tequila.
No, caffeine. No, straight caffeine. Looks like Western will be playing. Let me go back here. Looks like they got Charlotte on the 22nd, so in 3 days. So that's what, Saturday? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central. That's at home, so show up to Diddle, before I say the Houch again, show up to Diddle and pack it for Charlotte, for the Charlotte game. We definitely got to beat them. Where is Charlotte in the – well, they're behind us, obviously.
Yeah, not too far behind. I think it's North Texas first, us second, La Tech third, then Charlotte and FIU in the top pod.
Okay. Yeah. Looks like Charlotte is 1, 2. Yeah, they're fifth. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Charlotte, La Tech's next. That'll be on the 27th. So 5 days after that. So that will be what? Next Thursday, 7 p.m. tip-off there against La Tech, and then we play North Texas March 1st, and then FIU. And then we start pod play, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is pod play starting this Saturday.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So
Okay.
this is just
So
the next
these
4
are going to
games.
be really important. And if Ross was here, I know he would talk about this. He had an article kind of explaining what's going on. But Western needs 1 win in the next 4 to seal a bye in the first round of the conference tournament, which that's going to be huge for this team, especially with all the depth issues that they have. But also, if we were to somehow win all of these games and finish number 1 in the conference, that's a regular season conference title. And Western would automatically get an NIT bid regardless of what happens in the conference tournament. So at least they would have some type of postseason with Bassie being hurt. And being able to get any type of postseason this year, I think, is going to be a good thing. Of course, I mean, you'd like for it to be the NCAA tournament, but just in case, I mean, they aren't able to pull out 3 games in 3 days. They'll be able to get that NIT bid. So hopefully that's something that they can pull off because they've beaten all of the teams that they'll be playing except FIU. So they have the possibilities of going 3-1 at the least. So all of that should be within their reach to hopefully give them some momentum going into the Frisco tournament.
I would say, honestly, when Bassie went down, for us to finish in the top pod was probably, I won't say it's the furthest thing from my mind, but it was pretty slim in my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's just a testament to the guys that are playing and not giving up and, realizing it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. So, I tip my hat to you guys. You did great. Alex, what do you think going into pod play? What are your thoughts?
I think that we have a very strong chance to not only get 1 win, but I feel like this could go either 3-1 or 4-0. I don't know who exactly that we might end up losing to, but the 2 games that I'm more concerned about are both Louisiana Tech and North Texas. With the scoring defense, Louisiana Tech has the number 1 scoring defense in the conference. North Texas at a number 2.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. And especially with Louisiana Tech sitting right behind us, that makes that whole game sit, it just adds a little more tension. Yeah, completely agree with you, buddy. Like, definitely picking up what you're laying down there.
Yes.
But like we said, Western is going to be playing. Gosh, keep clicking out of it. Let me get back
Charlotte.
to it. They got Charlotte on
Charlotte.
the 22nd. That game is. Oh, let me see if I can find it on.
I think it's at 6.
Yeah, it's at
It's at 6 o'clock.
Cool.
It is on CBS Sports Network on Facebook. For those of you who can't go, if you can go, pack the couch. God,
The diddle.
Diddle. Pack diddle.
Struggling.
Yes, definitely struggling.
You will be very cold if you pack the couch on Saturday.
Literally.
There'll be like 6 people probably at the house, and they're like, "Where is everybody?" I thought we were supposed to be here. But yeah, so yes, pack diddle. Support the guys. When a opposing team comes in and they have to struggle because the crowd's so loud, man, that adds a whole nother layer, guys.
True.
So that would make it so much better. So support the guys in that aspect. Support the girls in their aspect too. But just real quick here, last thing, and I'm going to kind of limit this to your lifetime, okay, guys?
Okay.
I think that's fair. That's what I did anyways.
Okay, so these are our all-time favorite sports moments. A lot of mine are Western related. So, full disclosure there. But Jared, I'll let you go first. Your favorite sports moments of your lifetime. This can be any team. Technically good or bad, because it could be, technically you could put Brady on there, him losing Super Bowls or whatever, But you go ahead, bud.
All right, so this was actually really fun just thinking about what are my favorite sports memories, and there's so many, and a lot with Western basketball. There's a lot with football as well, since I was a student there and even after. But my top 5, here we go. Number 5, I put UMBC beating Virginia in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago,
Ooh.
just because just because of how significant that was. Like Western, we came pretty close in 2013 when we played Kansas and only lost by, I think, by like 7 or something like that. It was a really close game. And I was like, man, one of these days the 16 seed's going to pull the upset. And sure enough, I remember seeing a little bit of the game, and I had to go to bed super early because of Starbucks, and I had to open the next day, I think. So I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I check my phone and I see where Virginia got beaten. I'm like, what? Because I think I had them going at least to the Sweet 16, and that kind of put a dent in my bracket. But they did the impossible. They were the first team to ever do that. So definitely shout out and kudos to the Retrievers of good old UMBC. They have my respect. Number four. Number 4 would be when I got to see the Indiana Pacers play the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2018, the early part of it. That was when LeBron was still on the Cavs. And this was my very first in-person NBA game, so that will always be kind of special to me, seeing them in Bankers Life. The Pacers were able to pull a win out 97-95. And it came down to LeBron. He had 2 chances to make a game-winning shot. The first one, he stepped on the out-of-bounds line and turned it over. And then the Pacers got 2 free throws, I think, because they had to foul. And he had a chance to win the game on a 3, and he missed it. So I enjoyed it, every bit of that. It was a lot of fun. It was when the Pacers still had Lance Stevenson. I miss him so much because of how incredibly goofy that man was. God bless him. I'm sure he's doing great. I love Lance Stevenson so much. When he'd be just playing the air guitar after doing literally anything. I mean, quality. Quality.
That's hilarious.
All right, number 3, I went with the 2012 NCAA tournament run that the Tops had in basketball because that was just purely incredible. They went 16-19 with the losing record on the season. They got in the NCAA tournament with a losing record and won a game. I mean, sure, it was one of the playing games, but technically that still counts as an NCAA tournament win. And, of course, beating Mississippi Valley State after being down by, I think, 18 points in, like, the last few minutes, and were able to come back and win that game. It's still the ugliest basketball game I think I've ever seen in my entire life. But they pulled off the win in front of President Obama, in front of the British Prime Minister. So that was very significant. Of course, number 2. Y'all will probably hate me because this is my number 2, but I really don't care. Is the first moonshine throwdown in football, 2014. I'm sure that's going to be on y'all's list. I hope that's on y'all's list.
Yes.
Because I remember watching that entire game. Like, we had such a good team, but Marshall was undefeated. They were nationally ranked. If they would have beaten us, I think they would have finished with the perfect season, at least in regular season. But, of course, as we all know, Brandon Dowdy and the Tops had something to say about it and won 67-66, and that 2-point conversion, that sealed the deal. That's still one of my all-time favorite plays. I remember being so excited after that. I was just freaking out because I didn't think we would pull it off. We had nothing to lose, and we still were able to win that one, so that was great. But number 1, I have to go with because of how personal it is to me. And I will explain some of my favorite ones. It's just whenever the Dolphins beat the New England Patriots. It's my number 1. Because the great thing about this is that there are so many different games I can choose that were so fun to watch. Like, Alex, you may fully disagree with this, but I don't really care. But the Dolphins and the Patriots is always the best game in the AFC as far as rivalries go.
I agree with you. I literally agree with you. Like, I have the Dolphins as one of my franchise teams on Madden, and I beat New England the other day with them. Like, Josh Rosen's the quarterback, but also I got David Johnson and Alex Collins Jr. as my running backs with Devontae Parker and wide receiver. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm literally rebuilding now. I'm like 9-3 going into like just trying to go for not only a playoff spot but actually win the AFC East. So
good.
Any good fortunes you got this year? Thank me.
All right. I didn't know how you would say it because I figured you would think the Titans and the Texans is better, or Titans and Colts. But in my opinion,
I would agree. It's just something about the Dolphins and the Patriots. Like, I love seeing them play. I really do.
Like, the very first game I ever remember watching with pro football this was basically the game I chose to be a Dolphins fan, was when they played them in 2003. I remember watching it, and it was really snowy. It was in New England. The Dolphins got beat in that game. But I don't know if y'all know this, but one of my favorite games that I do remember was when the Dolphins played the Patriots in Miami for Monday Night Football in 2004. It was called the night that Courage wore orange, because that's when the Dolphins were wearing their orange uniforms. And I think they went 4-12 on the year. And I remember watching them play the Patriots. It was such a close game, but I was in fourth grade, and it was a school night, so I went to bed early. And the Dolphins got a touchdown in the last few minutes to end up winning the game 29-28. My mom actually came and woke me up and said, "Hey, your Dolphins are going to win. You need to come see this." So that was great. That was one of my first memories. I have an orange Ricky Williams jersey. That was the same year that he had the whole instance where he got high and he wasn't supposed to get high. So that is significant in itself. I'm so glad I have that jersey. I will keep that forever, even if it is really, really old. But there was that, the night that Courage wore orange. Of course, this past year, the Dolphins beat the Patriots with Fitzmagic in New England to keep them from getting a first-round bye in the playoffs. You're welcome, Tennessee, again, and Kansas City.
Thank you.
And, of course, the year before that was the Miami Miracle, where Kenyon Drake basically made Rob Gronkowski look like he was a Jolly Green Giant and didn't know how to run. So every single time the Dolphins play the Patriots, the Patriots might blow them out once, but the Dolphins are usually able to end up getting at least one win against the Patriots, even when they suck, because it's the best rivalry in the NFL, in my opinion, and it's always a fun game, and I'll always be ecstatic every single time it happens, which thankfully happens annually. So, yeah, that's mine.
That's good. Alex, what are your top 5, buddy?
All right. I really didn't know how to put this at a predicted ranking, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to free ball it. Number 5 would definitely, and keep in mind, one of these will actually have WKU reference in it. The rest of them are just going to be pro football. So I'm going to start off with, I would have to go with number 5, and this is not anything towards Western to downplay it, but just the magic of this game. The 2012 play-in game where we came back and beat Mississippi Valley State. Yes. Like, I'm sorry, like, that is one of my all-time favorite memories of just being a Western student, being a Western fan, just because, like, it was in front of the country, and it was just, like, that whole entire, something about just, it literally set social media up ablaze. And I had several people calling and texting me, like, "Did you see that?" And I was like, yes, I watched the whole entire game, because it was a fun and frustrating experience. And I remember just sitting with, like, my best friend and his mom just watching the game, and we were just, like, in the nail-biting, like, final 6 minutes of the game, literally just was like, I think the neighbors actually called the cops on us just because they thought something was going on. That's how much excitement it was for that game. Number 4 will definitely have to be the Jim Edmonds home run to force Game 7 in the 2004 National League Championship Series against the Houston Astros. It was when he hit a home run. It was bottom of the 12th. To this day, I still don't know why my dad took up for me to my mom. It was like, just let him stay awake and watch the game. He'll learn that baseball is going to go forever and ever. But bottom of the 12th, it paid off. And I wore my Larry Walker jersey next day at school proudly. And I was like, yes, I stayed. I think I was actually the only one in my class that actually stayed up and watched the whole entire game.
I was going to say, you're probably the only one that was allowed to, because I remember as a kid, like, if they went into overtime, I was screwed. I had to go to bed. And you just found out what happened the next morning on the news, and it was so disappointing. But go ahead, sorry.
You're good. I learned my lesson during the Rams-Patriots Super Bowl. Like, I actually went to bed and pretty much woke up and was like, because I despised the Rams, so that was the only time I actually cheered for the Patriots in a Super Bowl, and I feel I have to take the credit of their dynasty.
I understand it, though. I understand it. I mean, the Rams were the ones that beat the Titans in the Super Bowl, so that's justified. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. Your conscience is clean.
Yes, so never again have I missed, like, a late moment. Number 3 would definitely have to be the Detroit Pistons winning the 2004 NBA Finals title against the Lakers. And it was the Shaq, Kobe, Robert Horry Lakers. And it was like, my grandpa used to live in Detroit, so we always had a close connection to Detroit pro sports. So I was the biggest fan of that 2003 2004 roster because literally outside of playoffs, like they were just not only a fun team to watch, but it was gritty. It was like when basketball was just at its dramatic heyday. Like the finals makes different storylines when it comes to dramas, but I'm sorry, literally like the 2000 years with the Lakers dominance with Shaq, Kobe, and then also like the New Jersey Nets, AI making the finals, the Spurs years, like it hits so the storylines hit a lot different from 2000 to at least like 2007, 8 during the Celtics Heat playoff rivalries.
Yeah.
So it was just one of the heydays of my favorite moments. Number 2 would have to be the Nashville Predators Stanley Cup final run, just because I've never in a million years would have thought that the city of Nashville would actually rally around a hockey team and almost winning the Stanley Cup. Like, just it's still a huge momental thing that happened in my life. Like, I remember going down, bringing my parents to pretty much Nashville, and it was the first home game. It was when we were down to a 2-0 lead. We lost the first 2 in Pittsburgh, and then we won that night. And it was just the whole city. Like, you thought NFL draft in Nashville was huge. No, it still has nothing on just the Preds being in the Stanley Cup. Like, the whole city was shut down.
Yeah.
And number 1 would definitely have to be in this because of me being a Titans fan, and it kind of put everything into place for just the past 3 years for the franchise. The 2017 wild card run win against Kansas City when Mario threw a touchdown pass to himself. Like, I'm sorry. That was probably the only time that literally 12-year-old Alex started to come out of 25-year-old Alex at the time. Like, that was just like finally seeing Titans win a playoff game for the first time since the McNair George years. Like, it just done well with my soul. So those are my top 5 moments.
I am really surprised you did not mention the Music City Miracle.
Well, that when I was like, the older I get, it's like, okay, like it was such a good play, but I'm more focused
Well,
in
you were
like
younger too.
It's still a forward pass, in my opinion, too.
I was gonna say you're
Yeah.
still younger, so it probably wasn't as big a deal for you. But,
like I
Yeah.
remember it because it was like, I mean, we followed the Titans literally prior to that moment, but that was just stuck it out for my fandom for me. But
no,
I
you're
think
good. You're good.
yes, it was just winning a playoff game for the first time in recent years. Like, that stuck out more to me than anything else. Like, I mean, if we could have beat Baltimore in 2008, we honestly probably, I'm going to be bold to say this, we honestly probably would have had a title already if we did not lose in the divisional round of 2008. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah. I was well. Of course, you and Jared are a lot younger, so I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, completely agree. That's old timer news as far as I'm concerned. So I did kind of go over, and a lot of mine are Western. All of them are. But of course, I will have some honorable mentions. Packers went in 2012 Super Bowl? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say so, somewhere around there.
Yes.
So, yeah, them winning the Super Bowl then is probably an honorable mention for me. Western winning in 2002, the FCS championship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Conference USA titles for Western. That's my other honorable mention.
Those are good.
So, number 5 for me is the first bowl win. Wasn't that against, was that Central Michigan?
Yeah, that was Central Michigan.
Yes.
Yes.
In the Popeyes Bowl.
Yes. So, that was one of those games that I had been with the team since the transition, so I was so ready for Western to finally get to a bowl game. And my last year on the Hill, we were projected to go to a bowl, and we never got the call. So it was so depressing for me because it was, it's one of those. It's like, dang, I wish you just want one more year. Every year you're like one more year, but it's one of those you just. You graduate, you got to go on. You can't stay around forever. Number 4 for me, beating Marshall, number 25. When we basically started the Moonshine Throwdown, as Jared was talking about earlier, gotta love that one. Number 3 for me is ending the streak. So ending the losing streak when we played Louisiana Lafayette.
Oh yeah, that was big.
Yes, I almost put it on the list. I
Oh my
almost.
God, that was probably. I mean, it was liberating. It was one of those you almost felt cursed. I mean, seriously, like going through the streak, you like being a part of the program and watching the guys play. It's just like what could go wrong did go wrong. Number 2 for me is Ty Rogers' shot in what was that 08?
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, oh wait.
2008. Loved it. That's one of those moments that it was just so exciting. And
I mean, I remember it when it happened, but I wasn't fully invested in the tops like I am now, so I didn't get to appreciate it as much as I do now, sadly.
I
you were
saw
like-
that game in high school. Happened literally my sophomore year, and that was just like, you know what? I want to go to WKU. I want to tour the campus just because of that. So thank you, Ty Rogers, for that decision.
Jared was probably like 4, so he probably didn't remember it that well. But I was actually I was at Western. We were still on the old side of the stadium. And the way the stadium worked back then is the training room was adjacent to the players' lounge, and they had a TV in there, and like I think the defensive line met in the players' lounge, so they would watch film and stuff. Well, during the day they just turned it on ESPN and left it. Well, Western was playing. I was working because it was spring, so like during spring, trainers don't have to be there all the time. You're just kind of scheduled. So like the students come in and we work, and then once our time's up, we go home. It's not a big deal. So I was scheduled to work. So the game's on in the background, and I'm sitting there watching. And something happens. I have to go do something. I come back, and like as time's getting closer, I'm like, dang, we could actually win this game. We actually could win this. And I didn't even see the shot. The funny thing for me is Ty goes. I saw them pass the ball to him, and by the time the shot went up, about 20 people were jumping up and down in front of me. So everybody was screaming, and I was like, "Holy shit! He must have made it." Excuse the language. And so I jumped up in front of the TV. I remember this vividly, running up in front of the TV, watching the replay, and then jumping up and down with everybody else. It was so much fun. I mean, it was for a football locker room, it was so exciting. Just, it was like, really? And then, of course, my favorite moment, of course, this was the following semester after I graduated Western, is Willie Taggart beating UK. One of my all-time favorites. I'm sitting in my wife's. We were living with my in-laws at the time because we had just recently moved to Radcliffe. So I was sitting in the bedroom watching the game on a Gamecast because I didn't have the channel the game was on. And so I'm watching the Gamecast, and it's like Western's in overtime, and I'm thinking, oh, crap. And they got to go for 2. So I'm like, oh, crap. So, I still knew everybody on the team. It was still, it was still exciting. I literally, after I got, kept hitting refresh. It's like, pass to, I think it was Jack Doyle, wasn't it? Pass to Jack Doyle.
Yes.
The 2-point conversion's good. I literally jumped up and I just started jumping on the bed. Like I was 4 years old. I was like, this is, it was so exciting. And it shouldn't be like that to play UK because it's UK, but it's still the big brother feel, if that makes sense, because
Yes.
They always kind of look down on us for athletics when in fact, we're still doing fairly well. But it was just nice to beat them. But so those are my top 5, actually top 7. But just loved it. But yeah, so that's all I've got. Alex, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good, man. I just love being a part of this podcast.
Oh yeah, hey, we appreciate you coming on. Jared is already stepped out. He actually had to run back to church. I think he's got a band practice or something. But anyway, we appreciate you all listening. Thank you for listening. If you made it this long, we appreciate you. I'm sorry. Sorry, I just got somebody entered the room, entered our live studio show, and their screen name is Yo Mama Been Fartin'. And I
That
just
has to be a troll. That has got to be a troll somewhere.
they didn't post anything on the live feed, so it's all good. But that's still hilarious. But anyway, like, share, and subscribe if you would like. We'd appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Appreciate you, Alex. Take care, buddy.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you, Devin.
Not a problem.